Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis, and the band is back together. We have Michele up top. How are you doing today, Michele?
I'm great. It was an episode. I have a lot of thoughts and feelings, so I'm ready.
Me too. And Fanta, how have we missed you? We've missed you. How are you today, Fanta?
I'm so well. I'm so happy to be back. I was a little bit disappointed with the 500th episode.
Yeah.
I felt like they could have done more.
Great.
Maybe like some explosions or something. Just kidding. Yeah, I felt like they just did like one nod and then like the quick montage, and I was like, that's it? We have been watching this show for decades, y'all. And that's all we got.
We said this last week as well, that like we thought that it would be like a 5-minute montage of all like the coolest moments and like really hype it up. And also like that it could be an opportunity to show some of the players that are going to be on All Stars 2 and 3 that people might not be familiar with. So like just showing, you know, what they did in the challenge as part of the 500 season, what might be a way just to like get people a little more familiar with them. But no, they just did like 2 minutes and then a challenge that was like not really good.
Yeah, I mean, like I appreciate that they were like, let's kind of like go back. But when he said like let's go back to like our roots, I was like, we're gonna have it's actually gonna be like an old school challenge, and it wasn't. So I was kind of like, eh.
Right? Why would they tease it like that when if it's just not going to be that at all?
Yeah. That was very.
I wanted them to be giving away BMX bikes and you know, subscriptions to like what is it, seasons pass to hockey games. Like I wanted that type of projectors. Like I wanted to see old school challenge, or at least have the money. Like they're running these money bags back and forth. I was like, maybe these are going to be actual real cash. You put some stakes on this daily, but.
It's like, why even give it a monetary amount? I was like, yeah, sick. Like in this daily, like these people are gonna actually get some like thousands of dollars. Like,
nope. So, do you have any other thoughts from the episode last week that you were dying to share with us?
Not really. I mean, I thought that I was hoping, I knew it wasn't going to go this way, but that I was hoping that Emy was going to pick Big T instead of Bettina. But I guess now that we know that Bettina was pregnant at the time, then I guess it's all for the best that she got you.
Now,
that she
question. Like, I'm not shaming anybody. She can do whatever she wants. But like, how long was she away? Like, could it?
Well, didn't you see the
15 weeks, right? But I'm just wondering though, is it actually before she was in quarantine, or could it have been somebody in the challenge proximity? You know,
you were thinking it was a Fessy baby. We all thought that.
No,
there was a moment where I was like, but yeah, that's true. That would be like too soon. But there was a single millisecond where I was like, oh shit.
Well, no, that's too many weeks. That's too many weeks. They film what?
That's like 4 months.
Yeah, they haven't been there for 4 months.
It would have been too it would have been too soon because like
Fessy, but they quarantined twice. So when did they first go out to quarantine? Help us in the chat. Help us.
I don't think it's possible because also when they film challenges almost every other day. So the actual filming doesn't take is not more than like a month.
Yeah. They have it's like
if it's only a month, then why is everybody like not wanting to do it? I was under the impression that the whole, you know, regular season is like 4 to 5 months.
No, not at all. It takes like a month is a long time for those people to be away from like their families
as opposed to 2 weeks. Like I don't know. I just don't think a month is that long.
I think it's more so like
right in the middle.
It has to do with like more so the conditions and like their families and their jobs, because like now they're not doing the challenge once a year anymore. They're doing it like 2-3 times a year.
Yeah.
So I think that's like for them to gear up and like all of that stuff. And now with COVID, having to like quarantine and stuff like that I think it's a bit grueling.
I mean, I can't really picture them doing some of those setups in a day. Like, I just feel like, because that would be 36, like, it would be a month, right? 36 days. And I think that would just be or 38 days. That's way, I don't know, it's too quick to me, but.
Yeah, don't discount the power of MTV production.
Maybe. Maybe. Hi, Carolyn. Thanks for being here. Yes. Hi. Prayers for Nany and her family. Absolutely. Sending lots of love Nany's way. And happy birthday to Nelson and Killa Cam. I mean, I'm not really the big fan of Nelson, but happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Killa Cam, though. I'm happy that she is a Scorpio.
Thriving.
I don't know. Thriving, like hanging with Leroy, you know. We got a month and a half left of the challenge. I know it's actually like sped by a lot more quickly than I was expecting, because in the beginning we're just like, okay, let's start these 19 weeks, and I mean we're past the halfway point, and I think it's been pretty fast, surprisingly.
We're doing all right.
Hi, Terrence. Yes, Emerald wins another daily. We will get to it in more depth, more detail. Sophie agrees with you and us that the challenge 500th episode was kind of disappointing. I thought that they would have had a crossover with All Stars. Yes, exactly, with that special episode. Exactly. But they didn't. I don't know why they didn't take that opportunity. So silly. So silly. Yeah. Ooh. Nope, that didn't happen. Hi, Natalie. Thanks for being here. So Natalie says, Emily O's X Factor performance backlash. What's our reaction?
It's
painful.
It's like reality TV show contestants like can't not have said the N-word publicly in their past. It's like I saw that and I just started cackling because I was like, of course she did. At this point, I'm surprised if people haven't said the N-word. And that's not I'm just saying like that's just kind of how it stands.
I totally get it. I mean, how I responded to it, I was just like, Emy, why did you have to be so silly here? But I can understand her coming from a country that's not North America, that doesn't necessarily know how heated that word is in itself. And she is just emulating through, you know, these lyrics of an artist that she's just trying to emulate. So I understand her not maybe being aware enough to know that it's a pretty big no-no, but it's just really unfortunate that she's just isn't educated enough in the world affairs to know that it's a pretty shitty thing.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you on that, and I think apparently she's also under investigation. I mean, I don't really know like what there is to investigate, but apparently she's under investigation and they're like debating whether they're going to bring her back for the next season.
So, investigation. The challenge is investigating hers. You mean? So maybe to see if there's anything else that would come out, because I think that is forgivable. But if there's like a history of, you know, being completely insensitive and more intentional with it, like if she's using that word to maybe address friends or like where it's coming from herself, that I think would be a little more problematic. But at this point, I think it's just ignorance if somebody uses it from a song, you know? And
yeah, also what was incredibly offensive was just in general how bad that performance was.
Yeah. Very bad.
I don't
very bad.
Like, even in this episode, Emmy's like, oh, like CT's my hero and like Lady Gaga's my hero. And I was like, I think like the challenge is like good for you, but like maybe all this like singing stuff, like maybe like not really.
Well, she's not a bad. So, okay, Michelle, you are our resident singer. So,
I mean, I can't make a full assessment. I know. I mean, I've heard her Alien track, and like she's doing her thing. I think that I hope there's a way they can reconcile and she acknowledges that she fucked up and she like learns. I hope, because I would love to see her grow on the challenge. I think she'd be someone like a CT who has made many horrible mistakes along the path to his greatness. I could hope that she would maybe go in that way. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. But it would just suck because a lot of new rookies that have been the most promising, it seems like they end up doing something fucked and then they can't come back because they're idiots and they do something offensive or whatever, right? Like Natalie and Jay and all these people that like I was so excited about having longevity in the game. I'm like, just be a good person.
This is what I think MTV should do. Okay, I'm just thinking of this out loud. We can workshop it, and you can tell me that it's a stupid idea. But right now, what I'm thinking is that if there's any of these tweets that are offensive or just questionable things that anybody does, there should be like the challenge court or something where they bring these people and just make them understand what they've done wrong and have a little bit of like an ability to say that they're sorry, that they realize what they did wrong, they did not mean to, whatever. And it could be a little bit of a teaching moment. And then we can move on past it instead of just like, oh, they're never coming back again. Like, why? Oh, and then somebody has to like on Reddit has to go deep dive and be like, oh, it's because of this. You know what I mean? I need, instead of just like cutting somebody off, I need to see some growth and some understanding as to why they're being cut off, because it's not doing anything. It's not benefiting anybody. So that's my thought. Do we agree, disagree, hate it, love it?
I agree with that so much. And I again, I mean, we've talked about this before, but I hate this whole concept of like, somebody will say something and then they just like MTV like covers it up and then we don't really like know what happened. And it's like, no, like, let's go back to like the old days of like Real World and like Challenge where people would like say fucked up shit. We'd all get to see it. And then that person, I mean, not old days because there was like no ramifications or consequences then, but like, yeah, let's make a new era of this. Like if somebody does or says something like that gets brought up and like the Real World, like it turns into a discussion and like it gets discussed, like how this is harmful, why it's harmful. So it's a teaching moment for that person. And if they decide to double down and continue to be an asshole, then yeah, get rid of them. But I like, honestly, like I often like for each season without D, I'm like, like it would have been like, I honestly, I would feel great to have D back.
No, I disagree with that. But not because not even because of her tweets, literally because I found her so annoying.
Yeah.
But like her and Ninja Natalie, I was just like, I don't want you.
No to Ninja. Never.
Well, I also recently watched most of Dee's season, I don't know how long it was, but at least one season of Geordie Shore when they were down under. And she's really insufferable. So now I see like how she's evolved. Like, oh, like it's just, you could see, okay, this is who she was before she was kind of famous. And then you can see the version that she is on the challenge. And then what she was morphing into, it's not a good journey. So I personally don't want to see Dee back, but I don't mind her coming back if she's learned from like the tweets and like how she's kind of wronged some people. Because at least she's like in there to compete. At least she's in there to try to like do things for herself and try to move forward in the game. I don't like her gameplay. I don't like her style. I don't like her choice in men. But at least she's trying to play, and sometimes she does well in some challenges. So I'm okay for her as a competitor. But as a personality, not my favorite at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think, especially if these tweets are from years ago, like I just want them to be like, oh my God, well, that was when totally is taken out of context. It looks terrible. I'll remove it. I'm so sorry if I hurt anybody. That's it. Right? Anyways.
Yeah.
Flogging a dead horse here. Nobody cares, really, probably. Okay, so Terrence wants to know, why would Ed pick Kyle as his opponent when he sees this is back. This is last week. Okay, or 2 weeks ago. So I think that he didn't want to go against Logan because Logan was his like another rookie. They made that sort of pact. And he didn't know Kyle's, I don't think he knew the extent of Kyle's record. what he's been saying after the fact is like, oh, well, like I wanted to go against the legend, so if I was going out, I was swinging big. I don't think so. I think that he didn't realize that it was going to be pole wrestling, and he thought that he would be able to beat Kyle physically in something. That's my
Kyle
thought.
doesn't look that fit.
No.
You know what I mean? But he's smarter. And this comes into play a lot leading into this episode, is like, this episode showed once and again that, like, if you want to have the biggest chance of succeeding in the challenge and winning eliminations and making it to the end and doing well, you got to play smart. And that's how you win eliminations. Even strength eliminations. We've seen it. Like, anyways, I'll get into it later when we get to that elimination.
Hi, Jelly Donut. Jelly Donut says D is greater than Miss Josh. I disagree, actually.
I do appreciate that you said Miss Josh, though.
Yeah, me too.
I especially this episode, this is one of the up episodes for Josh in my eyes. So I would prefer Josh over D, personally. What about you guys?
Now, I'm a slice, but I got a jet. No,
That's a decision I don't want to make.
I mean, it's interesting that asking this right now, because I loved to hate D. Like, she was a good love to hate villain. Mm-hmm. With Josh, I just kind of feel like annoyed that he's like winning so much right now. And like, I don't know. I oscillate in between just being like annoyed and just like being indifferent about him. Yeah. But I much prefer a villain. Like, I would prefer to just like have somebody to like love to hate. Where just Josh isn't like extraordinary in any way. D could actually like win, like she won the challenge. She could win challenges.
True.
Josh,
she's been to a final.
Josh is never going to win the challenge.
No.
I'm just kidding. I mean, you make a good point with the love to hate villain portion of it. I was just thinking about their personalities, and we'll get to it shortly. But there's just a part of this episode that I really appreciated with Josh, and so it made me endeared to him just a little bit.
Yeah, there was a moment, but then on the flip side, there was also a moment where I felt the opposite way, which is how I always feel about Josh, which is like, you're making good strategy social moves for yourself. Now, don't pretend that that's not what you're doing. Like, own the fact that you're making it and say, this is a good move that I'm doing for this reason. Instead of being like, oh, no, like, whatever this. It's like, no, you think that this person is going to bring you to the end, and you don't think this person is. So that's how you picked. Like, I just hate that he doesn't, like, own up to the choices he's making. I would really respect him way more if he did that. Personally.
I hear you. I agree with that. He is kind of like, he's trying to be the nice guy and not be the snake, but then he's snaking people and then pretending like he didn't have anything to do with it, which is just kind of like an eye roll and annoying. It's like, own up to it. If you're going to be the villain, if you're going to be the badass, if you're going to send people in, if you're going to take your game into your own hands, do it, but don't pretend like you're not doing it. It's just not a good look. So I hear that.
Yeah,
I do. So we start off this episode, Titanic, with everybody hugging Emy, of course, and everybody's pretty excited for Emy. She's really happy. And I'm happy for Emy, even though, we have this terrible X Factor performance. Like, it's like she's like a younger sister type vibe. Like she says Uncle CT, she's like a little niece, a little cousin type vibe that just like wants to fit in with the older, sit at the big kids table, So I like Emy, even though she's might not be that knowledgeable about worldly things, we'll say. And she does mention that she likes Lady Gaga. So what was so offensive about Lady Gaga as her choice of favorite musician, Fanta?
No, it wasn't that was offensive. It was just like, I was just trying to wrap my head around like the fact that she is attempting a music career.
Right. Like, okay. Which is like, CT's my idol and Lady Gaga's my idol.
And Lady Gaga, because I'm a musician. And I had to just sit there and go, okay. she's
well,
a musician.
You know what? We're going to be able to have a really good idea of what her singing is like because she's going to be doing a performance of Alien on the reunion show. So
no, shut up.
That's what I heard anyway, that she's doing a performance.
Are you serious?
Of course I'm serious.
How did you know that? I hate that.
How do I know that? I don't know. I feel like it was common knowledge, but I don't know where I stumbled over that.
Oh, I hate that so much. Because it's also going to be this thing like where people are going to be like, oh wow, yeah, like this is good, and I hate it because not a single person that is like, this is bad, like this is not good. Only Banana said that in his podcast, and he was like, yeah, that didn't sound that good.
Really?
Yes, he said it like because Fessy was saying like Fessy was like, oh yeah, like it sounded really good, and like Bananas was like, no, I don't think so. So I just want one person to just be like, this doesn't sound good.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to like take the wind out of her sails or deflate the balloon like that would be really, because I'm sure it takes a lot of courage for her to even want to get up there and do this. And I think that if she had some training, I think that she could be decent. She doesn't have a terrible voice. She's just isn't great at using it as far as I can see so far. Yeah, maybe her tone's not that great, but she's not the worst singer I've ever heard in my life. There's that. Okay, so Natalie wants to stir up some trouble here. He wants to know if you can imagine Derek F on the challenge, because we did see that he was starting some tweets with Josh, trying to get some beef going between him and Josh, and like want to get into a ring with him, and I'll meet you on the challenge, and like then I'll take you down or something like that. So
you couldn't even win a Big Brother challenge. You couldn't even win any competition ever. What makes you think you could win?
And Big Brother are like backyard games.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it's not really like anything. And he couldn't even like, he can't, like, you can't just nap the whole time. You can't nap your way to a final. I think that's like, I already said that when I went on my rant in our group chat, but I was like, that's too much of a liability for MTV. There's no way in hell that they would bring Derek F on and just be like, okay, like, you're so big and nothing happened.
Yeah, it'd be bad.
I mean, they learned their lesson with Big Easy, and Big Easy was way more fit than Derek F is.
Big Easy wasn't as big as Derek F, I don't think, but also Big Easy like was fairly fit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Big Easy was like in shape, and he gassed out, and so if seemingly Derek F isn't even equally as in good shape as Big Easy, and it seems like these challenges are more difficult than were 10 years ago when he gassed out on that final.
Absolutely.
But he did it. He redeemed himself.
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely. This is a long time ago. Don't worry, Michelle. I'm not coming for.
He pulled at my heartstrings. Him finishing a final was everything I needed to see. And I used to hate him. Like, I came full circle with Big Easy, as we all know.
I still want to know how him and Devin kind of broke up. Like, what ended that relationship? I want to know more.
What didn't end it? I mean, it was such a random moment in time. So I think Devin was just like, I'm trying this for a bit. And she's like, okay, I'm done.
Like, they were banging. Like, they'd have to be, which is like unreal to me. Like, just the thought of that. Maybe we won't think about that. So Jelly Donut says D is currently suing MTV. I thought, well, that was rumored before. Is that still like an old rumor, or is that like something new? So it's safe to say we'll never see her on TV again. Yeah.
I think that's old.
Yeah, I don't know if she's followed through with that.
Right after it happened, she was like, I'm gonna sue these guys. But yeah, like basically their contracts are like, MTV is like, we own you and you can never sue us. It's like the fine print.
Sorry. Okay, so I have a question for you. When I was watching this next scene, we see that Kyle is talking to Logan and kind of just saying what type of player Amanda is, and like, you know, she's great at puzzles, but she kind of sucks at everything. Whatever. They were having like a bit of a conversation. It's seemingly in the kitchen area. And then they would cut to Amanda, and Amanda seemingly is looking in that direction. but I was feeling that she wasn't overhearing that particular conversation. Was there something off about that with you? Did you guys have the same feeling, or am I just like picking at things?
I had the exact same feeling. I was like, at first I was like, oh, she's there, and he's kind of half trolling, like as Kyle does, and she's kind of listening, being like, eye roll. But then I was like, if it was Amanda, she would have said something and interrupted. So I don't think she was there. I think they kind of cut it in that way just to make it seem like she was. So I also felt weird about that moment. But I was like, it's Amanda. As we can see later in the episode, she gets me a couple fight points. Love it. And she would never not say something. Like she will defend herself always, no matter what, whether she's wrong, right? She doesn't give a shit. She's always going to say something.
For sure.
I mean, exactly. And
she's just such a character, man. She reminds me of the old players. Like, even though she isn't. Well, she is, but she's not like, but she almost reminds me of like a Katie, like those people who are just like, no, you're not going to say this. And even if she doesn't have anything to back it up, it doesn't matter.
It's just like,
I just love it. I don't know. It makes me laugh.
Yeah, I mean, I was just kind of like, I thought it was interesting that she didn't say anything if she was able to hear that moment. And so I was trying to figure out, like, is the cut? I was trying to see if like you'd see like an elbow in the shot to like be able to see that it was the same scene. And yeah, I think that it was just spliced in to make it look like she's overhearing this conversation.
Yeah.
Why do they need to do that though? They didn't need to. MTV.
I mean, it's
Logan calls her to be the most annoying person here, which I thought it was surprising. Did you? I don't find her to be that annoying.
Well, maybe since like Amber is gone, and like the other people they found annoying are gone, and I think that Logan just comes across the way he is. He's very like kind of stoic, and I just think that like he is so real and genuine, and she is too, but in such a different way. I think he just doesn't connect with that, and he doesn't like shit starters, and she's always willing to do that kind of stuff, which is important in the game. So I think that's why, maybe, I don't know.
It's just funny because I'm just like, Logan, like you don't even know her to hate her or to find her annoying. Like, you know, she hasn't really been that annoying, in my opinion. I've seen her be a lot more annoying in past seasons.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So
I'm honestly, I'm just grateful for her. Otherwise, like it would be like really boring.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And much. She knows that. She knows that.
She's like, okay, guys, like I'm here because people like me on the show, and so does MTV. So I'm gonna do Amanda. You know, I'm gonna stay here for as long as possible and then get my checks. And if I get to the end and win, amazing. But I'm sure that part of her deal was like, just stay as long as you can. Like, I don't think she expects to win necessarily. You know, I think she just wants to get to the end.
Yeah.
But and obviously want to win if she gets to the end. But I think that her main objective is to stay as long as possible, really.
Yeah, for sure.
So I didn't notice anybody else, but I had a little chuckle with Amanda because in her first confessional, talking about how she's being respected on the Team Ruby, and she's like, I love red, I love the color red, but I hate the Team Ruby. But she's wearing like a red blazer. I was like, you're such a troll. Has anybody else been wearing their team colors in these confessionals, or was she seriously just the only one doing it for jokes?
I didn't notice, to be honest.
Yeah.
Gotta be honest.
I mean, I'm sure maybe people have, but I mean, Michelle's Team Ruby right now, but
that's the team you'd be on.
I mean, yeah, because my team's losing, so yeah. Although I did rack up the most fight points and win points this episode.
Yay! Okay, so while we're on the subject of your team, while I was making like the thumbnail for this episode, I didn't know if I should change the name of your team.
Yeah, I think we should.
So what would you like it to be? What's on the table is just and friends. So if anybody didn't know, Michelle's team for the draft is Bettina and friends. We lost Bettina to the game, the challenge last week. She went home. And so should it be and friends? The other one was Bettina's 'S friends.
Like Bettina's friends. Which is ironic because she didn't really have any friends at the end there. Or it could be like the Bettina legacy foundation.
The Bettina laughed. The laugh. Bettina's laugh. Center. I don't know. Fanta, you got a good one?
Do you have an idea?
Well, mine was in Friends.
Yeah, I think just in Friends is fine. If I come up with something better by the end of this chat, then I'll splurt it out.
Okay, and also anybody in the chat that's watching right now, or even later on, because we can change things at any time if you want. What? No, this is bad.
Sophie Dovey's like, that's even a more stupid name than the previous name. Yeah, that's the point. That is literally the point. Thank you.
The team names are great.
I mean, I do. It was so jokes. I really enjoyed having that team name. So, especially now that Bettina's gone. So for now, it's going to be and Friends. If anybody in the chat has any ideas of anything better for Michelle's team, who do you have left on your team right now?
I have got Amanda, Josh, Kaycee, Devin, and Big T. Yeah, it's an interesting combo. So just let me simmer with it for a bit.
Yes.
Let people comment for a bit. We'll come back to it.
Okay, so let's put that on the back burner. Hilarious. Okay, so who's going to hate this portion of the episode the most? I think Fanta. Fanta, how did you feel about naked Emanuel fixing the shower with Tori?
I hate everything about the Tori and Emanuel. I don't find it like, usually when people are like hooking up, I'm like, yeah, but I don't really I don't care. I don't find it endearing. I don't find it cute. I don't find it funny or interesting. I'm over it. Yeah. I was more about Michele and Emanuel.
About that.
But now I'm just and it's not a matter of I don't care how many people Tori has shacked up with. It's just Tori is just not that authentic of a person. So it's just there's always part of me that just feels like you're just doing this
for a storyline.
For TV.
Yeah, and it's obviously I'm sure she's attracted to him, obviously, and all of that stuff. But it's also was she attracted more because he was interested in someone else first and because he has similarities to Jordan and or she knows what she's doing by having hookups on the show, and the fact that there were 3 people she was at least trying to do something with on the show. If you really like someone, you don't need to do it that way. So she's obviously doing it in a way that she knows the cameras are around. So yeah, she acts very oh no, they're finding out, but she wants people to see it. And then she's posting all don't hate on women for having sex. We're not totally live your truth. But I agree with you. It just don't really it makes me not it makes me like Emanuel less. And not because I think she's bad person to hook up with. I'm just sort of I'm not, it doesn't feel cute. It doesn't feel real. It feels it doesn't. It feels performative and
how do you feel though?
Ego driven.
We look at it as Emanuel is also just playing the game.
Oh, for sure. I think it's both sides.
If they're both just playing the game, I'm actually more okay with it.
And who said it this episode?
Amanda.
They were Emanuel is Amanda did. And so that to me, I'm eh.
Oh no, Ashley did. I wrote it down. Sorry. Ashley calls out the politicking.
Oh yes, Ashley. And she's he's on a good team. He has never been in eliminations, hooking up with Tori, was partnered with Kaycee. But yeah, I don't care. That's not an edit that I'm for.
And also Emanuel has had the easiest ride this season. The best partners, the best teams, hasn't had to go into an elimination as a rookie when every other rookie has had to go in multiple times at this point. Hasn't been infiltrated yet. Jesus. I like the dude and everything, but you got to prove yourself a little bit more for me to really be in for him. But he's playing a good game.
I think he's go ahead.
Sure.
Sorry?
No, I agree. I agree with you completely, Michelle. He is playing a good game, but I just take him or leave him.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that we would have liked him better if you knew that he was like, canoodling and having like game chats with Michele. I think it's because we don't think of Tori as like really a good gamer and that this is her only strategy. And then, I think that we don't respect her game as much. She can do whatever she wants. I don't care who she's fucking, but game-wise, like that strategy is kind of weak for me. It works. Of course, we know like Nicole Franzel, that type of gameplay. It's not my style. People can do it, but maybe that's why we just don't really care for
exactly.
it
Yeah.
at all. Just like it's kind of weak, a weak strategy. So this is where I first started liking Josh a little bit this episode. Throw in a little Spanish and I don't hate you anymore. I'm like, yes, Josh, I like you making a social connection with Logan, allowing Logan to feel comfortable, feeling like he has somebody that he can speak his home native language with. And so he can not feel like, I understand what it's like translating all the time. I've lived in places where I wasn't always speaking English, and having to translate all the time, you don't necessarily feel like you're part of the group or like you don't always catch what's going on. You don't always hear the joke. And so I thought it was a really great moment, character building for Josh, really, and also for Logan, just to see that partnership kind of grow together. And it definitely goes a lot further within this episode, the bond that they made here. So did you guys agree at all with Spanish Josh?
I see what you're saying. I think that it was like, very good gameplay. Probably the best thing he's done. The fact that he has enough control or he has enough say and is whiny enough to make sure that his team doesn't put in the person he doesn't want them to put in, when Logan at most benefits him more than the rest of them.
But
if
also,
he's
though, I'm just just throwing it out there though, they could also be thinking if Logan's around, he's somebody that people might not mind going up against if chances are.
But I feel like mind going against him. He's one of the tallest, biggest dudes. Like, if they don't get him out, like, he's a contender to beat them in the final.
Yeah.
Or he's with them and he takes one of their spots. So, like, to me, it makes no sense that he's even still there. They should have been trying to get him out, like, more aggressively. And the fact that he got, like, Josh is able to swindle his way to, like, save him is very smart. You've got this personal connection. This guy is never going to fuck you over. Logan has made it clear he does what he says he's going to do, and he's very real. So, like, that is someone you can trust. And, Cory, his social game is just a hot freaking mess. Total mess. He is incapable of playing a good social strategy, and he's made it to the end by being lucky so many times. And he does have strengths, absolutely, but he doesn't have all the pieces.
Well, and we kind of learned that a little bit right after I thought it was a good strategy moment for Logan and Josh, but then we see Cory and Nelson so mad at Josh, Josh is moving shady. And I'm like, Josh's moves are so obvious. Like, it's not like he's doing anything sneaky. He's being pretty blatant. He's like, I'm not going to put this guy in. He's my friend as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's like, it's not like he's duping you.
But this is the issue with Tweedledum and Tweedledee, Cory and Nelson. Is that
dumb and dumber.
Yeah, every single person strategically is better than Cory and Nelson
combined.
So anytime they're like, oh, wait a second, look, we didn't think of that. Like, they're a snake, they're shady, they're a snake. And it's like, no, like, you have to play strategy to win and, like, to further yourself in the game. So, like, you can't literally call everybody a snake. Also, their vocabulary is very limited. So I think snake probably means a lot of different things for them.
Right.
But we don't know. We don't have their dictionary. But I agree with you. Like, I don't, like, in terms of Josh, like, he's also not a master strategically.
No, it's so basic.
Was, like, if there was, like, somebody, like, one of the, like, challenge legends playing the game, they would be running circles around Josh. And, like, we've seen that before in the past.
Exactly. Like basic strategy he stole from Wes. Get a rookie, make them close to you, keep them around so that you have certain loyalties over other people and get rid of other vets above certain rookie. Literally doing that strategy and doing it smart. Whereas Cory had a thing with Jeremiah and then very obviously in front of everyone in a challenge, like helped him out too early on and made it too clear and didn't have enough people backing. Like it just, yeah.
Well, like even Josh is though, like he's still quite obvious, like equally as obvious as Cory was with Jeremiah. I just don't think that he's slick. I just think that I guess they believe
Josh has the numbers. He's got it. He's on a winning team. He's got the numbers. That's really the difference.
That's the snake part of it.
Yes. If you Nelson thesaurus.
So in this situation, Josh being a snake is that he has the numbers. No, well, I mean, okay, I'm being facetious here, but I do think that they think that no matter what, if they're saying from the beginning that it's vets stick together, that the vets have to stick together no matter what. And I'm like, well, Cory, you do say in this episode, like, oh, the first time they had an opportunity to throw me down, they did. It's like, yeah. So the vet, like, it's off now. Like, you got duped. They took you as far as they felt necessary, and now they have other people that they want to save more than you. It's just kind of factual. Like, it's not really duping. When it's like, are you better friends with him than with Logan? You don't know.
Yeah, there's no surprise there. Like, you're not in with the numbers. That's it.
It's it.
Sorry.
So yeah, with these dirty vets, I'm like, you guys are super clean. Like, you guys just aren't good enough at the game to get yourself in better positions. And if you're in a better position, you would give it away or throw it away because you don't even know how to manage your position. Sorry if you guys are Cory and Nelson fans. I'm really not. I've tried to like them. They just, as a pair, they just don't offer what I want in a challenger because they're not even always consistently good at competitions, right? So they don't even have that going for them. It's kind of like they're just kind of these bumbling idiots that like are on this show, and they're just kind of like, Cory doesn't even do the hookup anymore, obviously, because he's in a relationship and has children now. So like that side of him that was loosely entertaining is gone. Nelson, he does it, but then, okay, sorry. Let me get my Nelson rant out from now. I am tired of Nelson being a POS to women in this game and then come all somber to the deliberation and be like, I'm sorry if I made you feel a certain, like, and apologize. Yeah, great that you're apologizing. How about you stop acting like a pile of garbage? And so you don't have to make all these apologies every time you treat a woman like shit. Please?
I could not agree more. Yeah.
I totally agree. I was gonna say that later.
Well, we can say it again because like I could talk about how much I am tired of seeing the same thing with him. We started talking about this when the way that he treated Kaylee. And like he had Kayla. And he had absolutely no reason to really even say a word to her. Like she's not sleeping with him. It had nothing to do with her, that vote. Like, why is he deciding to go and like tear her down, like slut shame her in front of everybody for no reason and then apologize after? I can't. I'm done with it. It's very common that he does this, and I'm sick of it.
It makes it so hard to try to like be on their side at all because you have a moment like throughout this episode, you kind of are like, okay, they're on the outs, like Cory really is understanding that like he's willing to go in if he has to because it's the game and he's really going to give it his all. And we obviously all can appreciate someone who is really, embracing the heart of what the challenge is. Like we can appreciate that, but it just makes it so fucking hard when you've got Nelson there just making these fights out of nothing, like taking like, and the way that he speaks to women is just so annoying. And the fact that like Amanda is somehow still friends with him, I don't understand.
I mean, I think it must be like a trauma bond, you know, like they went through Are You the One together. Maybe they were in a friendship when she was dating that other loose cannon, Mike, who was another pile of garbage. Like, so maybe it's like a trauma bond, and they've been friends for like 10 years now as well. So
yeah,
I can see.
The one was 10 years ago.
No,
I don't know. It's maybe close now, wouldn't it be?
Man.
No.
Go look. Check it out. Michelle, tell us.
I'm looking it up.
It wasn't 10 years ago because I was watching an old reality TV show today from 2010, and it does not look the same.
It's 2014.
Okay, 7 years. That's 7 to 10 years. Like, that's 7 years is a long time. Anyways, we'd round up probably, right? It wouldn't be 5 years ago. It'd be 10. Anyway, 7 years ago is still, I think, a long time to have met somebody and been going through a lot of these, you know, games with a lot of life changes and stuff like that. So I get why they're friends a little bit. And maybe he's nicer when he doesn't have the pressure of the challenge around him. But I don't like what the challenge brings out in him at all.
Yeah.
So I can't see his redeeming qualities. And he was on Dr. Phil with Angela, and that wasn't great either. So no, thank you. I also didn't like these two. I want to like you guys. I don't want to hate on the only two black dudes on the damn show, but it's just frustrating that these two particular men, I don't find them to be great.
Well, you know what?
Go ahead.
They're not Leroy. Leroy is a class act.
Yeah,
agreed.
He's funny. He's hot. He's a great challenger.
Great person.
Great person. Super entertaining. Like, sorry, but I just hate like this whole episode, like how like even until the end, they're trying to like shove this like love story, like best friendship,
you got this, man.
Like down our throat. And like even when like after the elimination and like Cory goes home and he's just like, I just want
you to win because he was so bad.
And it's like, I don't care. Like, there's nothing about this that I'm like, oh my God, my heartstrings are like tugged. I'm like, your guys' relationship is like, it's not, it ain't it.
It's weak.
No.
And I recently saw the elimination episode. I can't remember what season it was because I just saw it in the background, where they were all, it was like 3 of them and they had to like run to one side to like get something. What was it? Who was it? It was, so it was Cory.
War of the Worlds, where it was like the thing, and they were.
No, it was earlier than. It was earlier than that. So there was 2 rounds. Like it was guys round and there was a girls round. And the guys round, it was Cory, Nelson. It might have even been their first challenge or one of their first really early challenges, and somebody else. And then on the women's team, Nicole won. The Nicole that you don't like, against like it might have been Amanda, to be honest, and it might have been Ashley, where they were like all pissed off because like they basically Nelson gamed it and he ran to one side so that Cory would have lost that round, and Cory and Nelson was able to go to the final or something like that, and Cory still had to win his way to the final. I can't remember how it all went down, but that was a literal snake move what he did, and like now it's all forgiven. It's all his loss. Like that's not. Man, you were good. You're just playing for yourself. You're just like, you know, you're just doing what you need to do to like get to the end. And it's like, yeah, that's what everybody does. But anyways, that was a bad example since I can't really remember exactly all the details. So never mind.
Invasion of the Champions.
Is that what it is?
That's what Sophie says.
Yeah. Yes, it was Invasion of the Champions because it was the season where they were all like shipwrecked beforehand. Yeah. She's right. I think that is correct. So Cory, like Big T's eating her food or whatever. She's standing and she's in like a room or whatever. And they started chanting about food and breakfast and not eating. And then he
breakfast of losers. Breakfast of losers.
Like,
she was eating
what?
That was so rude.
It's so rude. And slapping food out of her hand. That's so rude. I don't care. Like, you're not her father. Even her father, I don't think should be doing that anyways. But you're not her father. You're not her fitness coach. You're not her, like, you have no right to be slapping anything out of her hands. Like, if she doesn't want to work hard for Ruby, she doesn't have to. If she doesn't want to eat on your diet for Ruby, she doesn't have to. So I was already getting livid at that moment with Cory like slapping food out of her hand. I was like, that's so disrespectful. So rude.
Yeah. Disgusting.
All right, so we finally get to Sunken Intelligence, which is basically there's an enemy shipwreck apparently, and it has their 3 chests underneath, but there's 150 feet of a rope underwater that needs to be untangled, then latch the end to this chest that has their diamond in it, and they have to bring this chest and all the rope to the shore at the fastest time, open the chest, and move the diamond to whatever its position where it needs to be. What do you guys think about this challenge?
I thought it was okay. Wasn't top, wasn't bottom, you know? Felt a little medium about it. I was holding out hope that Emerald wouldn't win for once.
You'd rather Ruby win.
Yeah, sister.
And I think they almost did.
Would you have rathered that though?
Yes. Because I think it would have been more.
You would have rather seen Cory and Nelson
because
be
I care about a game being like this. I don't want to watch this. That's boring to me. I would rather have seen Ruby win, throw in someone from Team Emerald, who would then obviously.
Or do you think they would have just been too afraid and just throw in Kyle?
No, they wouldn't have been afraid, but they might have voted in Kyle out of spite or something instead. Who knows? Either way, I don't know. I still think CT would have been safe regardless, so I would have been fine with that. And I just think it would have been more interesting to see how the Emerald team does against each other when they're not in position of power. Because they're all hunky-dory because they keep winning. It's like in Survivor. Once you go to Tribal, then you see what your alliance truly is.
True.
So I want to see them lose because I want to see what's going to go down. Obviously, I was really hoping for Sapphire to win, though.
Yes,
obviously.
I wanted Sapphire to win big time. And go ahead.
I wanted Sapphire to win too. I'm bored of Emerald winning right now.
Also, they're not that good. They're not that good. But why the F are the teams unbalanced in a challenge where you can distribute weight? Multiple people pulling through these ropes. If you have 2 extra people, you're going to be better at it most likely. There's going to be a little bit of weight, a little bit of load. You're going to be a little bit faster most likely. So the fact that it's a team of 4, a team of 5, and a team of 6, and the team of 6 won, the team of 5 came second, and the team of 4 came third. It's just well, look at that. Look at that. And we talked about this last week, Survivor, if it's uneven tribes, they have people sit out. So that
I think they should have done that.
Very excellent to watch to see how strong Emerald's tribe really is when they don't have that extra manpower, especially since you can't join a team without taking someone off of a team. You shouldn't be trying to make a team full, right? Or am I off base here? Sorry, I cut you off.
That's what I thought too. Especially at the end of this episode, I was actually kind of, I don't know, maybe I never know the rules, but I was actually kind of shocked when it was just a replacement situation again. And I was
be like that. If you're going to decimate Ruby, if you're on Ruby and you win and you go to another team, Ruby shouldn't remain strong. If you're trying to jump ship, I'm off of Ruby. Let me join this team. It's stacked until you get to 6. And then you can swap people out. That's what I thought it was going to be this whole time.
Me too.
And I also think that if there's 3 people on one team, there should be 3 people on every team. And maybe they'd have to do multiple heats. Maybe that could be the disadvantage. But I don't think it's fair that you're doing a weight distributed kind of challenge and you have a team that has 20-30% more power.
Yeah.
Pissed. I was pissed. It wasn't really that interesting to watch because I pretty much knew that Emerald was going to win.
It just wasn't interesting to watch.
You can't tell who's doing well.
You can't tell who's doing well. It's not particularly these types of dailies that they're doing. They're not exciting.
No,
they're not exciting to watch. It's just kind of okay, this thing is happening. They're they're untangling rope underwater, and then they're running with a jewel to shore. It's just so okay. I guess this is happening, but it's not the days of where you'd watch it and you're oh my god, where you could be yes, run, do this. Really,
I
how
mean,
that?
maybe they should just give the mini finals every freaking week because those are interesting to watch. I can tell who's going to do well. People can't hide. You can see people's strengths, weaknesses. Like, I think that would be really not every week, but like to see more of those types of challenges on the regular, where they have multiple checkpoints and multiple styles of things in one big or daily. That's what I would like. I don't care about underwater. I can't tell what's going on. I don't know who's winning. I don't know who's doing well. The timer, who cares? Like, you can put any timer on there. I can't tell. I can't tell who's doing well. Agreed. Except for I knew that Emerald was going to win because there's 6 people. But were you guys tricked at all? Because like it did seem as though Ruby was doing a little bit well. Were you tricked by the edit when they're like, and the 2 top teams are Ruby and Emerald? Did you think that Emerald was going to pull it through?
I knew Emerald was going to win the whole time.
Yeah,
because
I meant to say Ruby, but yeah, you answered the way I thought.
Ruby, like they made that whole thing with like Amanda, so I was like, that doesn't really make sense that like they would win.
Yeah, but the fact that it was close is kind of shitty because that just shows that like maybe they could have won had she been helping more. That said, she wasn't really given a task, but it would have been nice to see her put her little head under that water and think and use her puzzly smart brain a little bit like CT did. But at the same time, it's so hard to see under there. I don't really know. And she doesn't really have the strength. So like, I don't know. It was also kind of just very Amanda to do what she did. And like, I don't know. Yeah.
I can just picture though, like those, the men on that team kind of barking at her, and she doesn't like being barked at. And so that's probably why they're just like, oh, just go stand over there. You know what I mean? Because they don't want to like tell her what to do. Yeah. But like, and if they were to tell her what to do, they would be barking at her, and then she would probably be defiant and be like, well, I'm not going to do it if you're going to ask me like that. So I think they're trying to manage her.
That's the thing that annoyed me about that, though. They were like, stay out of the way. And then she was like, okay. And then everyone was like Nelson and like all the confessions, she just like didn't do anything. And it's like, you know, we can see all of this. Like there's something about this that doesn't make any sense. And like typically when stuff like that happens, like Amanda will come out with facts.
Yes.
So which we see in the next scene.
Exactly.
I'm just whatever. I didn't care for the challenge. I didn't care for how they treated Amanda. Like, they should know better to know that, you know, if you want to manage Amanda, you just treat her kindly and be like, okay, like, this is how we're going to do this together. Come up with a strategy and be like, okay, can you do this? Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. We're going to go down and we're going to try to help each other out. Whatever it is, like, talk to her like part of the team, a human being, and not just be like, oh, just cast her aside and then expect her to know what you want her to do. You know? Anyways, I would have been pissed if I was Amanda, and I probably wouldn't have done anything either, just to be defiant. I thought it was funny though. Before that challenge, Big T was like, "Yes, we're repping the Ruby team." I'm just like, Big T, no.
I just want the Ruby team to dissolve. It's like watching a dying animal like trying to drag itself to safety. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's not fun. Not fun. Funny was Amanda getting the title of the episode with her doing her Titanic on like the shipwreck while everybody else is working. I'm like, you're just trying to start a fight, Amanda, but it was funny. So Emy was surprised by the Ruby salad. I think we all were surprised that they did so well, especially because we know that Nelson isn't the greatest swimmer. We know that Big T is a great swimmer. We would assume that Logan is also a good swimmer, and Cory says he's a good swimmer. Is that a thing? I thought he was not a good swimmer.
No, he's a decent swimmer. Like he's no Wes, but like he's decent from what I remember. That's why he always like performs decently well in finals while never actually winning. He always is able to be like second or third or whatever because he does have certain physical strengths. He just gets caught up in all the things with the brain stuff. I think
the brain stuff, exactly. But speaking of the brain stuff, so Emerald team wins again, and Devin's ego is quite enlarged. It doesn't bother me. Why doesn't it bother me, guys? Like, I know people are probably going to hate on me for just
it's not. It was a little annoying, but it's kind of funny to like. for the first time, he's in this position. While it's unfortunate that it's with this particular group of people, like I like some of them, I don't like all of them, obviously. It doesn't annoy me as much as I don't know. It annoyed me mildly, but not that much. I like Devin, and he's really playing. He's making sure everyone's staying together for now. But as I said, once they lose, different story, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I think he knows that.
Together.
Yeah.
He wants that together as well, because it's like he's definitely a tasty snack for some of these other people just hanging around on those other teams. So yeah, I can see him wanting to really pump up the Emerald team and really keep them together and be like, we're good together. We're good together. Keeping that energy that we're good together, we're stronger together, we need to do this together is beneficial for him and Josh the most, I would say it's beneficial for. And I'm glad that they're recognizing, though, that the Sapphire team, those four, just keep on getting stronger. And if in the final, like splitting between 6 and splitting between 4 and getting 6 people across the finish line over 4, it's not as easy. So, I mean, yes, you might be able to separate the food a little bit better, like if you're eating some, I don't know, cow's intestine.
Yeah, but Nany's not going to eat anything then. Like, no, she will. She's no Fessy.
Eats. I don't know about, do you think Josh will eat?
I mean, he'll be a baby about it, but
I think Josh will eat.
He will.
Devin have to eat for his?
Of course. Devin will.
No, but
Devin will do anything if he's in the final.
Yeah.
He will try his damnedest.
So Fanta, we get to the club zone. Obviously, we have a little bit of an Emerald chat. There's some key moments in here. What were your favorite parts, or least favorite, or notable?
There was two main parts. You have like Cory, who is like sucking up to Logan, right? And yeah, was Logan or Emanuel?
No, it was Josh.
Or Josh, Cory? Sorry. Because he was like sucking up and he's like, yeah, like you're doing a good job, blah, 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 because he like knew the writing was on the wall.
Yeah.
He's like, oh shit, like I might be like going in. And then there was like that whole thing I was like rolling my eyes at. And then we have like Amanda just like drinking her like white wine.
She loves her white wine.
She loves her white wine. Sometimes she drinks it with a straw, which is very funny. And she's just hanging out in the club and doing her thing. And then now like, Amanda. And they're all having like a Ruby team meeting, like on the corner couch. And she's just like, oh, haha, I forgot I was on this team. And then she like sits over there. And then he just like kind of starts to like berate her. And like basically the reason why Ruby lost that like today was because of Amanda's like antics or whatever. But again, it goes back to this thing where it's like, they told her to stay out of the way. So like, what do you want? Do you want her to compete, or do you want her to not, like, what is it that you want? And then now like the thing that's when it like, when I just like started and then I was like, fuck Nelson. Like again, because anytime something goes wrong, he always finds a way to blame anybody but himself.
It's so funny that he was pointing that same finger at Amanda. I mean, like, you said to own up to it.
And he's like, all someone needs to do is just own up and take responsibility. He has never taken responsibility, dude. Come on.
For anything. For anything. And it's so funny because like it's so great that he tried to pick that fight with Amanda, because she was like, are you serious? Shows the receipts and then is like, okay, yeah, like I guess we're done here then, and then like walks away. And then Nelson's like, are you serious? And it's like, no, like if anybody talked to me that way, I would just be like, yeah, okay, bye. I'm not gonna sit here for what?
Right?
Exactly.
And, like, I don't usually like when people throw challenges or whatnot, but when she's saying, because he's like, you don't care, and she's like, well, you know what? I'll go down and play for the other team. Go and play for the other team and then lose, whatever. And I'm like, yes. You know what? I want to sabotage these people. Like, they're so annoying that like I like Amanda playing against them because it makes them so angry that they can't control her, and that I find is very entertainment entertaining. Oh,
Yeah.
oh man, those three. So would you say that would be fight points just for Nelson and Amanda? Do we have Cory in there or no? He didn't.
Are you?
No, not yet.
You're keeping a track of the points, right?
I'm keeping track.
We all are.
Okay.
Well,
I have
I have a spreadsheet. I have to update it for this week and last week, but I have the spreadsheet going too.
Yeah, the fights
I'll give you the spreadsheet so you can have it if you want to look at it.
Okay, of all of the points, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like mine too, right?
Yeah, Fanta.
I have everybody's points written down.
And I have everybody's points as well, so we can cross-reference at the end and do an average.
Yeah, just Amanda and Nelson for now. It's not till after the deliberation that we get Cory gets in 2 fights in a row. He gets the one with Devin, and then he gets the one with Josh. So those are 2, in my opinion, fights for Cory.
No problem. Sure. I only wrote down, I think, the ones for Josh and Cory, but it's just because it was just like, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
All right, so that was it. Oh, when Emerald was talking, though, and they're considering everybody, they're making it seem like they're going to be maybe throwing in CT. This was after the club. I think it was, this is before deliberation. And I'm like, they're not throwing in CT. There's no because CT will go down. He will 95% chance come back, and he will go and take your spot, Devin or Josh, probably Josh. So it's just like, it's not a good risk if you want to try to stay on the winning team, in my opinion. So the fact that they're trying to make it seem like he's like, everybody's on the table, it's like, CT's not on the table. So in his deliberation, CT, he's like, I gotta get my head back in the game. So he starts like putting his tail between his legs and like kind of being like, I'm so team Sapphire and like, I'm not gonna mess things up. So what do you think about CT's getting back in the game and Ashley calling him out and being like, oh, CT doesn't want to go down in elimination?
I thought it was very interesting because I was like, I was surprised that he just talked. I was like, why are you talking? Like you have like a good handle on the game. And like, why would you be afraid to like go in? Like, I just feel like it makes it worse when people talk a lot. Because it just shows their hand.
I think they had to.
They're afraid.
I think that like he thought he's always got to think there's maybe a chance, right? Like the truth is that like obviously none of the guys want CT in a final. It doesn't matter how close you are. Yeah, he's not an enemy, but he's going to beat you in the end. They all know this. So he should always think 2 steps ahead. And I think that he probably was having, as he said, like some shitty days and feeling down and feeling kind of like out of it and just like over it. And then he probably was like, okay, fuck, like let me like get my screen time back in. Let me like talk again. Let me like show that, you know what I mean? Just kind of say something, get more involved again. So I think that's kind of how I took it. But
yeah, and I think that there was only 5 guys that were up for being compromised.
Yeah.
So maybe we didn't see it, but maybe like we want to hear from everybody. So maybe that's the case because every single person of those men were they said something. So Nelson, I wrote down apologies as usual.
Amanda had me cackling because before Amanda's confessional, I was like, fuck you, Nelson. Shut up. You do this shit every time. Like, you're so tired of it. And then Amanda's goes off. Like, obviously, this is so transparent. Like, you don't want to go in. And that's the thing that's so crazy to me. How could somebody be so stupid? They've played so many seasons of the challenge, and they still don't have foresight. He's so dumb. He's dumb.
They're both dumb-dumbs. I don't know. I'm not sure why they're so dumb, especially because they've had experience in the game. I don't, though. I just think it, like, learn as you go along. You are an experienced vet. Like, you learn something else other than, like, the word snake. Like,
Serpent, maybe.
Ask.
Amphibian. Anything.
Rattlesnake. I don't know, like just a variation, please. But no, it's not on the thesaurus mix today. So we have Logan saying that he will stay on Ruby. So that's a good draw. You know that like if he doesn't go down and come back with a vengeance, he won't go in and mess up Emerald's team because that's what Emerald is most afraid of especially on a guy's day. And then Kyle, I love Kyle so much. And he's just real about it. He's like, if I go in, everybody's up for grabs. Fair. Like, I don't think that he should be necessarily making any promises. And I like subtle threats. It worked for Amanda. So I think it should work for Kyle as well.
That is scary enough because Kyle has technically beat CT.
Yes. He's not, and he's gone down and come back already once this season.
He's a big fella.
So, and he's not really scared to do anything, you know? Like,
No.
he will just still do it. He might not be great, but he still will do it for the most part. And then Cory, I was just like rolling my eyes when he's just like, yeah, you know, like, you just got to stay ready. You got to stay ready. You know, if I go in, everybody's up for grabs. And he has to like say the exact same thing Kyle said. Like, I really don't think that Cory said it first and they just cut it backwards. So I'm just like, get your own line. Get your own line, Cory, please. So I was very happy to see that the compromise agent was Cory. Were either of you surprised?
No.
Neither. Cory was. Why? You shouldn't be surprised.
Was he really?
I mean, he's acting like it. He's acting like everyone was a snake and that he didn't expect to go in, especially if there's a rookie that's still on the table.
If Jeremiah was still in the game and you were going to throw in either Josh or Jeremiah, who the fuck would you throw in? That's what I would say.
Yeah.
I'd say you would throw in Josh. So I'm closer with Logan in this game, in this particular strategy. Exactly. I'm trusting him more. But Josh doesn't want to say that because of whatever. He has to have friendships with everyone. But it's just bullshit because there's no way Cory would have put Jeremiah in before many of the other vets. So like, if you're gonna give it, you got to take it. Sorry.
Exactly. Totally agree with you. And then Cory starts his tantrums. And I wrote down, it's funny because like, I'm not threatened or scared of Cory's threats at all. Like, he says anything, he's like, oh yeah, I'm coming back down there and I'm taking your spot. It's kind of like, okay, if you do, you do, but I'm not scared that you will. And that's what I kind of think is really funny about his bravado is that like, he acts as though people are scared of him, like they're scared of CT, but like nobody's actually that scared of him. Kind of funny. And that's kind of why they threw him in too, because they're not that scared of him coming back and like messing things up because they have a 1-over on him in the game. Like they have the numbers, they have the strategy. So he can't get 1-over on them. And so it's just kind of funny to see him try to be swinging big, but like nobody's threatened.
Yeah.
At all.
Even like Josh and Devin's reactions were like pretty tame. They were like, hey, if you want to talk about this, yeah, like sure, man. While he's like yelling, but like
I will say it did come across a little bit like patronizing, in my opinion.
Fine.
Especially with Josh, like with Devin as well, but also like in Devin's case, I believe Devin really wanted Logan to go in. I really do.
Yes, I think
yeah, exactly. But I think with Josh to come in after and be like, oh, if you're gonna do that, like I'm trying to have a conversation, it just felt a little like, which like fair because Cory was being an idiot, but I don't know. It like kind of was like, okay.
Well, no, it's like shut up, Josh. Like don't like pretend like you weren't shitty. Like you weren't.
Like you
shitty,
fought to make this happen. You fought to make sure that Cory would go in.
So yeah, he should own it a little bit.
Just own it. I would like him so much more if he owned what he did. It's the same thing with Fessy. Just own the player that you're being.
Yeah, totally agree. So we got 5 and 5 points here for this Josh and Cory fight, and Cory being like, I don't have the vets back. And I was like, don't you realize that the Vets Alliance is only going to last as long as it suits the majority of people in the game, and then people are going to be playing for themselves. That's just pretty much it. And now I think CT was smart in the sense of being like, well, I want to keep the vets strong and I don't want to rustle any feathers, or is it ruffle any feathers? I never know which one it is. But I want to keep everything kind of tame and safe, and he doesn't want to get anybody angry. So that was CT playing Switzerland. But like, Cory, you got to realize that it's not going to happen vets forever because it's beneficial to keep some of these rookies over you.
Absolutely.
Because the rookies also feel more loyalty to the people that have protected them more and made those
Exactly.
relationships because it's their first season. They're like, oh, I got to trust these people. So even more so. Whereas all the other vets, like they've seen the lies and the betrayal. So it's, you know.
Well, it's like, I mean, it should be really hurt, but it's like, I know that CT would pick Emy over Big T any day. You know what I mean? And
oh, yeah.
Big T would be upset by it, but it would be very obvious that they have a better connection, that they work better together, and you know, Emy will do anything for CT, and we don't know if Big T would be able to do that either. So it's just kind of like, figure it out. It's not really that complicated, Cory, at all. So Josh tells Logan about the whole scenario with Cory, and that Cory's just scared. I love that Logan doesn't give an F though. He's like, well, I'll go in, I'll eat him alive, like whatever, I'm hungry. Like, I just love that he's actually doesn't flinch, and it's quite attractive when he gets quite serious and focused. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying when he's like, I'm gonna get into performance mode.
Yeah, agreed.
Down with it. So down. What?
I'm shocked.
Well, I don't get along with them in real life, but I have an attraction to earth signs. So if I'm not mistaken, Logan's a Taurus, and there's one Taurus that like will probably always have my heart, and they're just so grounded and so like masculine. There's something about that like grounded earth sign male energy that I'm like, I vibe with. And then I get to know them and I'm like, oh my God, you're so fucking boring. But like for the most attraction part, I like that like grounded, like.
Yeah, I think Logan would be boring.
Right? After the
after a while, I think he would bore me for sure. You need a little bit of something else.
Female earth signs are way different, Fanta. Don't you worry. Like Michele Fitzgerald is an earth sign, so she's fun. But male earth signs for me, I'm like, they're fine in the beginning and then they're boring. I remember I dated this one when I was in Vancouver, and he literally got, you might even have this, Fanton, if you do, I'll kill you. But he had a season's pass for the grouse grind, and he ran up the grouse mountain every single day. And I was just like,
I would never fucking do that.
Are you sure? And he doesn't even take the gondola down. It's like, who are you? Take the gondola. So the grouse grind, have you done it, Michelle?
No idea what you're talking about.
Basically, it's a mountain in Vancouver where like it's like just steps all the way up, but it's rock steps. So it's like rocks and grass, and like it's quite. I haven't done the grouse grind actually. I've only done the Chief, and the Chief, which is easier than the grouse grind, was hell. But I think it was a little more interesting with like the different terrain. But basically, it's just like straight up for like an hour of like these big uneven rock steps. And like, I don't know if it has on the grouse grind, but on the Chief, it'll have like, you're a quarter of the way there. And like, I'm already dead. I'm like, people are like talking to me, like trying to motivate me. I'm like, don't fucking talk to me. Like, I was so angry. I'm like, why are you making me do this? This is the worst thing I've ever done in my life. And then you get to the top and it's actually quite nice. And you feel accomplished and like, you're like really cool. But then you go all the way back down. You're just like, why am I doing this? And then you never have to do it again unless you have a season's pass. So yeah, if you go to Vancouver, I'm sure you'll have somebody convincing you to do the Chief or the grind. The grind is quite touristy. Fandy, you've done it many times, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've done it a couple times.
Yeah. Chief too, or no? And the other one?
I've actually never done the Chief before.
The Chief was actually like visually nice, and like the view was quite nice, but it was hard. Anyways, back to the lair. The lair. So Cory goes down, and who rolled their eyes more than me when he picks up the sand from the ground and he lets the sand fall through his fingertips? This is what we come. This is what I come here for. His motivational speech, like he's being sponsored by Nike. Like, how do I
laughed so hard because TJ was just like, haha. Okay, so who are you picking? You just thought TJ would be like, yeah, Cory, like, you're the man.
Not bothered.
No.
Yeah,
dude.
it was just like, oh, that was not epic.
You're boring.
It's not epic. So I feel bad. Okay, I shouldn't be laughing at that because he was trying to do something. But like just seeing the sand between his fingers, it's like, oh, get out of here. Sorry. Okay, he calls. Oh no, so he's looking around or whatever, and I love when he's think. Does he say CT's name out loud? He's like, I'm looking at a bunch of people. Anyway, CT's like, I'm
Yes.
not your enemy. I'm not your enemy.
Yeah.
It's like, you're so funny, CT. It's like, I mean, the best way to not leave the game is to not go down there. So CT knows the rules and knows how to get to finals. So he compromises Logan, and what they're going to be playing is snatch the rope, and it's 2 out of 3, but they're going to be standing on 2 balls. And guess what, guys? The rope is going to be
on fire!
On fire! Yes, guys. Yes, the rope is going to be on fire. All the budget going to get the rope.
So they set it on fire.
I was like, why does it need to be on fire? But like, whatever. Get that money, the pyro money. So we've seen this elimination many times before. I was hoping that, you know, Josh would be saying helpful things to Logan because he lost that particular one against Jordan. So I thought he would be help Logan out because I really wanted Logan to win. Were you guys feeling the same, or did you want Cory to get his
I knew Logan was going to win. I knew Logan was going to win. As soon as Cory was like, I'm picking like Logan, which obviously I knew who was going to pick him, I was like, you're going to lose. Like, you're not good at stuff like this.
Yeah,
it's not about like your size and your strength. Like, Logan is smarter than Cory is. And it was so funny. It's so funny. Sorry. It's so funny that until you say, oh, I thought Josh was going to help. But Josh is a dum-dum. And the funny thing is that Josh, you could hear Josh in the background being like, oh, this is giving me PTSD. You know when I did this against Jordan? Like, fuck you, dude. We all know that you lost against Jordan because you're a dum-dum. He outsmarted you.
Exactly.
And this is exactly what's going to happen with like Logan and Cory here.
It was clear. No, I was just saying it was clear that was going to happen. I think that Cory would have lost against any of them, except for maybe Nelson. And I think that it does require smarts. Jordan, knowing your history, which he knows, Jordan versus Josh, size, strength does not matter. It's all about balance and like focus and being smart enough to see the people's tells, play hard, see how they react, and then go from there. Like, come on. 101. Like, that's how you win those games.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I knew he was done for.
Yeah, for sure. And I thought that I was like, anyone that Cory picks except for Nelson, he's going home. I was like, there's no way he would be able to beat Kyle. No way he'd be able to beat CT. Even if Emanuel was on the table, I don't really think he could have beat him. And
because Cory just thought it was about wearing him down and making him tired. And Logan was like, well, I'll wait till he's tired and then I'll strike. Like, you know, he was waiting for a moment to strike. And that's exactly what Jordan does. It's like, he's not trying to tire the other person out. He is trying to see when they are off their game, that they're not completely focused, when they take their hand off to let their hand breathe for a second, let's just whip it away at that time. Like, that is what you do, you ding dong. They're not going to wait for you to get strength back in your arms so you can hold on tighter. Like, yes!
How stupid was that? And I mean, it's not even like, it's like, yeah, if you just need like a second, but like, do it more covertly. But just right in front of his face, he's like, oh. You're letting go of the rope. What do you think is gonna happen?
Like, there was nothing that I would do. You wouldn't be like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait for you to put your hand back on so we can be fair here.
Yeah, you think he's gonna fucking wait for you to readjust yourself?
No.
Like,
get prepped.
Wow.
No. So Dabu says though, hi Dabu. I've always been a proud TYB hater, us too. But for the first time, I think I'm Team Cory. Well done, Josh. You really think so after that fight? I mean, Josh was annoying. I agree. And we kind of already discussed a little bit about how he was kind of like, not owning up to him actually being a little bit of an asshole to Cory a little bit. But it didn't make me like Cory anymore. I'm sorry. You guys?
No.
No, I mean,
Or-
I like the concept of like, I was like, oh, I would like the idea that there could possibly be a power shift. And I like the idea that, yes, Cory could possibly win and then he could come back and like, I was just like, but I mean, at this point, I'm like, anyone infiltrating Emerald, like, I'm so bored of that.
Exactly.
So
yeah, no, just like stack up your team and deal with Emerald, whatever. So Jelly Donut says that all that Logan does is hate on the women. Do you agree with this?
I mean, in this particular episode, he was sort of like, complaining about Amanda and stuff, but I don't know if I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if he hates on women, or he said Amanda was annoying, but I feel like it's a little bit more game centric, and he doesn't really take like low blows. It seems. I could be just liking him more than the other guys in this episode, but I don't know. What were we gonna say, Fanta?
I don't know. I mean, like, Logan's got kind of like an interesting personality. Like, he's kind of a dick, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But like, he's really good at the game. But I don't know. Sometimes he's like kind of hard to read. Like, he'll be like really loyal to the men. But yeah, he's not really like a woman's champion by any means. But I don't know. I don't really know that I've seen enough to be like, okay.
Just thinking about it, I think he also doesn't have any clue on how the final's going to be. Like, he's never really had multiple experiences with it. Because if he did, he might realize, like, oh, I might need to run this with one of these women, so I should be learning how to work with them or communicate or create some bonds. And so maybe he just doesn't know what's going on in the game. And right now he's like in self-preservation mode, and he's just like, the guys are who keep me safe in this game at this point, not the women. And so maybe that's why he's not really that plussed about the women, because they haven't done anything to benefit him when it's the men's day. It's pretty separate right now. And I don't think he realized that he might actually need some of these women to win.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I agree with that. He definitely should probably start getting that communication going with the women, but I don't know that he will do that.
So Terrence wants them to bring back the daily trivia challenge. Oh, did they not have trivia this season yet?
Not yet, no.
Do you think they will, or do you think they're going to omit it? Like they should have been doing for the 500th episode. Damn trivia about the damn season or something. Like the 20 seasons. Like we love that when they did that on All Stars, when they're just asking like All-Star trivia. And I was just like, oh my God, remember that? Oh my God, remember that? Like, why didn't they do trivia?
I feel like there's too many ESL people.
They wouldn't know at all. That's true. Maybe they won't have trivia at all.
That's fair.
I feel like there's way too many, and they're just
and people that have no idea like they've never watched the show. Yeah, you're right. Damn it.
I think it's
Damn it. Logan is Tarzan. Tarzan from who's Tarzan?
From
like
Tarzan.
Disney Tarzan.
Like that?
Tarzan.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like Tarzan from Survivor. I'm like, Tarzan. There's two Tarzans on Survivor. Okay, sure.
Like Michelle, like the Tarzan.
Like, is there another Tarzan? Like, it's Tarzan.
You know Tarzan from Survivor, though. That's not like wild of me.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, there's I think two Tarzans that are from.
What is that, like season 5 or something?
It's season like Take My Finger. Whatever.
Wow.
Anyways, Cory sucks. He loses 2-0. He doesn't even tie it up. He sucks so bad. And I think that he must have.
I forgot to mention, this was so funny. It made me laugh hardest of the entire episode. When Amanda in her confessional was like, Cory's looking like a shit sandwich out there. And I don't understand, because he like does this shit all day. The battle ropes. Oh my god, that was so funny.
Yeah, it was so good.
That was so funny.
I 100% laughed at that as well.
Oh,
Just like, yeah, you literally do those ropes every day and you can't figure out how to knock this guy off. And Logan did figure it out. And so, then we start getting like the goodbyes from Cory. It's like, now keep fighting. It's yours, man. It's yours. And it's like, Cory, it's not. Like, it's not Nelson.
Yeah, like, there's no fucking way Nelson's gonna win this.
There's
like,
no way whatsoever.
Cory deserves the money. Like, no, he doesn't. He's gonna go on fucking like Instagram after this is over and just like hawk his like protein powder for like $6,000 a post. Fine.
Yeah, Nelson's fine, absolutely, and he's not winning this game. It's like, I actually don't see what percentage will we give him? Maybe a 1% chance. Like, I don't even know what would have to happen. He would have to go down, take out CT, take out Kyle, take out Emanuel, take out who's the other guy on that team? No, yeah, take out Emanuel, and then run against, say, Devin and Josh and win against those two. So he would have to go down against every man that's still left in the game and then beat the last two men. It's just not happening.
No.
Like, it's not.
No.
And if they stay in cells, like on Team Ruby with Big T and Amanda, no. So Logan doesn't want to go back to Ruby. And my final eye roll of the evening was Nelson being like, oh, see, of course, he's not a man of his word. I'm like, so Cory from Ruby just went down and picked somebody from Ruby to try to send him home. And now you want me to come back and be all kumbaya with the team? Like, nah, I'm going to do what's best for me. And he decides to go over to Sapphire, taking Kyle back to Ruby, which was a very funny scene in my eyes where he was just holding on to CT's leg like a 2-year-old child that's going to the daycare for the first time, doesn't want to leave her mom. He was very dramatic. It was very funny. I liked that moment. But he's going back to Ruby, and what's his name? Logan is really stacking up that Sapphire team. That team looks strong.
Like, yeah, they look good.
Very good. 2 rookies, though, like, might actually get to the final and maybe could win in a team situation.
I don't think they're going to stay as teams. That's my prediction. No, I'm predicting it now. I think they're going
this uneven.
Nope. I think they're going back to different pairs, or it's every man for themselves, but there's certain things where they have to work in certain groups, but I do not think it's going to be in the cells. No.
I agree. I can't really tell what they're going to do because I don't know what exactly. Uneven.
Yeah.
But do you think it's going to happen not next week, but the week after? Do you think that's when they're going to do some sort of shakeup? Maybe it'll be a mini purge, and then we'll find out what the format might be for the final.
We love a purge.
We love a purge. Let's get rid of them. Get rid of them where they can't hide. If they suck, they suck. That's it.
We love it.
And so, yeah, that's pretty much the episode. It was really fun talking to you guys about it. And I loved, though, this gave me some love for Josh again, when in the scenes from the next episode, it shows Amanda talking to Josh and him being like, I want to run this final with Nany and Kaycee. I don't care about Tori. I was like...
Yeah, and then she's like, that's all I needed to hear. And then she's going to be like off and like doing some troll shit like pretty soon.
I cannot wait. But Amanda already doesn't like Tori anyway, so it's kind of fine,
Does anyone?
Totally fine. It's hilarious though, because she feels very safe in the Emerald Cell and she feels that she's really, met her stride here, and like they don't necessarily value her as being part of this group. Like he wants to keep together brother Nany and Ben, and I don't think he cares that much about Emanuel and Tori for the final situation. If they're winning, they'll stick together, but they think that they can probably win that foursome with whomever. So I can't wait. Woo! Well, say tout to le monde. Thanks everybody here in the chat for, keeping us on our toes with all the tea, stats, and information. Do you ladies have anything going on that you want to share with the people?
I just ordered some Wendy's, so.
Okay, Wendy's. What'd you get from Wendy's?
Spicy chicken, obviously.
I mean, I've never had a spicy chicken, so I don't know. I don't eat
It's the only thing I order from there.
That's the only thing that's edible from Wendy's.
Yeah. And a Frosty.
And a Frosty. I haven't had a Frosty in a while. That's
Frosty, spicy chicken.
That's it. I literally don't ever touch anything else from Wendy's.
A fries dipper in your Frosty?
Yeah.
I'm so Canadian of us probably to do that. But I haven't had Wendy's in forever, but it's kind of a road trip. That's whenever I see a Wendy's is like when I'm driving, say to like Montreal or something like that. Like I don't see them that often. But well, enjoy. I hope you.
Thanks.
We're gonna watch Survivor and eat Wendy's. That's a combo.
Eventually, I have one thing I have to do real quick first. But
okay, well,
but that's why I need the energy.
Gotcha. Well, it's been really amazing having the band back together. It was a lot of fun. Thank you so much in the chat. Thank you so much, ladies. And what do we want to know from the people in the comments this week? What do we want to rant about this week? Do we think, so what do we think is going to be happening in the next 2 weeks? Do we think that they're going to run the final in duos? Do we think they're going to stay in cells? Do you think they're going to reconfigure the cells? What do you guys think the format is going to be for the final? And do you think there's going to be multiple winners? So do you think it's going to be just a male and female winner? Do you think it's going to be like a first, second, third male, female? So maybe 6 people will take home some money. What do you guys think is going to go down in the finals? And obviously no spoilers. We're just kind of speculating here.
No spoilers.
But let us know what your thoughts are. And as usual, just, subscribe, like this video. It actually is really helpful. I know it's annoying to just press that little button and say subscribe or press the little like button, but it's really helpful and we really appreciate it. So thank you so much, everybody. Till next week. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.